What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today we're going to go over the Canik SFX Rival. I don't know if that's blurred out for you guys, but anyways, is it called Canik or Janik or Janik? Because I want to call this one Janiqua, if that's the actual name, the way to pronounce it. But anyways, let me give you a little bit of backstory on me and Caniks in general. The first Canik that I've ever held in my hands was the old one with the decocker on top. I could care less for that guy. I tried that decocker, I tried the trigger, it was heavy and clunky, and I saw it and I was like, ugh. That out of here. But really though, I didn't like that gun. I just could care less for it. Now fast forward a couple years, I tried out that TP9 DA or SA or S something. It had an S on it. Pretty much that decocker version without the decocker, and I think they tuned up the trigger a little bit. I just didn't like that one either. So I kind of just tossed the whole Canik idea aside and I just forgot about it and shot Glocks and other polymer guns. Then fast forward again to SHOT Show this year. My buddy Adam, who works at Century Arms and Canik and all the other companies that they own, the umbrella under them, pulls me aside and says, hey, why don't you come and check out these new Caniks? I was like, yeah, I'll stick here with the MP5s and all the other stuff that you guys got. He's like, no, come and check out this new Canik. I'm like, all right. I wasn't expecting anything to wow me, so walk on over to his booth, puts one of these in my hands. I was like, huh, okay. Looks nicer than other ones. Feels lighter. Lots of changes, no decocker. Then I went to go feel the trigger, and that trigger is what made me interested in the Caniks once again. Then I started asking questions. I'm like, all right, what is this? Like $1,300 bucks, $1,200 bucks, $1,000? What is it around there? Because Adam's like, nah, dude, this is 600 and something, like 670. Put it up somewhere right here. I heard that price and I was like, whoa, for a gun like this, for a trigger like that. So I was like, all right, I have to have one of these and check it out. So he went on and told me, let me just give you one of these. If you like it, go ahead and show your followers on Instagram, tell them how you like it, do whatever you want to do with it. Just let me know how you like it. So with that said, I did get this gun for free. No payment was involved. Nothing telling me, hey, give a good review, give a bad review, nothing. He didn't even ask me to do this YouTube video. I just went ahead and did it. I also felt that I needed to make this video for you guys because I think this is a pretty cool gun for the price. I was actually so impressed with this gun that I went out and bought the older TP9 SFX. I wanted to figure out what the steps they took from the older version that I did not like to pretty much the point that they're at now. So let me get right into all that stuff for you guys. Now the Canik Rival is the upgraded version of the Canik Mete. I don't have one of those in my possession. I'm probably gonna buy one of those along with their shorter versions and a couple other versions because they're so cheap. But for now, I'm just gonna compare this one to the older SFX. I believe this was the step before the Mete, then to this guy here. The Mete and the Rival are pretty much identical internally, and the frame, I believe, but then everything else, you got that fancy coloring and barrel fluting and all that. So let me get into that. Now let's get right into what you get in the box here. This is a huge portion of the selling point for this firearm, I think, just because all the stuff that you get in here. You get a holster, which is pretty sweet that they even give you a holster. You get 2 back straps and the back strap that's already on the gun itself. You get a punch here, and I feel like it acts for something else. I haven't really looked into that. You get a bore brush. You get a cleaning rod. Of course, they have to give you a lock. This aluminum mag wheel does come in the case, but I installed it on this guy. You get 2 magazines. Now, since this gun is dedicated for competition, I feel that was kind of the downside towards this whole package. I'm not really complaining because of the price, but I feel if you're gonna take this gun out of the box and go competing with it, you need a minimum of 3 mags. That's one of the downsides that I see to this package. Maybe they could up the price a tiny bit more and add an extra mag, I don't know. The base plates that come installed on this guy are plastic, but they also give you 2 aluminum ones here. Now, the 2 aluminum ones are a little bit thicker And when you're going to put that magazine with the magwell on there, they will stick out a little bit more than these plastic ones. I haven't installed them because I haven't even actually had an issue with these guys while reloading. They do stick out a little bit more, so you can press that magazine and get a little bit more reliable reloads. You get 4 optic plates. That brings me back to the actual mounting system itself. These 2 screws come off, you lose your rear sight. Then they give you the option of putting pretty much every optic that you need in this box. You get this magazine loader. And I think the coolest part about this whole box here is this little guy here. Get a little baby Canik. That's your disassembly tool. In here, where the magazine goes, has all of the little tools and pieces and screws you need to switch parts out on your Rival. And it also comes with 2 different magazine releases, like a small, medium, or large. I don't know what this one's on here. This is a small. The amount of stuff that you're just getting right out of the box with a $680 gun is pretty cool. I was like, whoa, are they just doing this for the competition guns? But when I bought this Canik SFX, the older version, seems like they're doing that with every one. I don't have the box with me now, but it kind of comes with the same exact stuff that you get here. In the older one, I got a holster, 2 mags, like 4 different optic plates, a toolkit, like all the same stuff I got in that box there, and that was like $400 and something. So starting with the barrel, you get a 5-inch barrel that's fluted. This gun is chambered in 9mm, and at the rear, the chamber here, you see these cuts on the actual barrel itself to kind of blend in with that style that's on the slide. And that slide has very, very aggressive serrations on it. I like the fact that they added those closer to the chamber itself, because in competition, I usually rack my slide from the front. There's a lot of competition shooters that rack their gun from the front. It just feels faster when you're loading around into that gun. A lot of guns have serrations really close to the muzzle end for those press checks. You can still press check with this guy, but it's purpose built for that competition style of shooting, right? So load. What I'm noticing on the other Caniks, like this original SFX here, and like the Mete when I was checking it out, it seems like they added material onto the Rival. When I try to put this in the holster that came with this original SFX, it was a pretty tight fitting holster. So I'm guessing this is thicker here. So if you wanted to put this onto the Mete or the other Canik holsters, I don't think it's gonna work right. You're gonna grind off your holster or get this all marked up. Then moving on to the front sight, you get a fiber optic front sight, which I think is really nice. It's really pronounced. I could see that very well in the daytime. You get your rear sight, which is adjustable, windage and elevation. Now I want to point out that this gun was strictly made for competition. You can use it for other applications, but the reason why I would kind of be about other applications is because of these 2 cuts specifically. I feel like those will snag on stuff, or if you get stuff stuck in there, sticks, dirt, whatever, that will probably cause malfunction. So that's kind of where I'm like, let me just stick strictly to competition for this guy and not really other stuff that you're gonna do. Okay, now moving down to the lower itself. It's a lot slimmer than the older versions. I feel like it's similar to the SFX and the Mete. I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Mete. I want to point out a couple key differences that I see between the SFX and the Rival. You do get a double undercut on this trigger guard here, which is really nice. You don't have a double undercut on the older SFXs. One of the big improvements that I've seen from this guy to the actual Rival itself is the back beaver tail portion here. I want to point out when I'm shooting this SFX, this portion here digs into my knuckle. There is bruising right there on my knuckle from shooting this guy and just driving my hand up into that beaver tail portion. It just hurts my knuckle pretty bad. On the Rival, I don't have that issue because it seems like they got rid of a lot of material that they seen on the older ones. That beaver tail portion is slimmed down where it doesn't really dig into my hand as much. You get this nice extended safety that's all the way out here to the back. People with short thumbs like me could reach it. And on the SFX original, you only get 1 on this side. So this one is ambidextrous, this one is not. I do want to point out that I actually like this release better than the Rival. So when I was out shooting it, I was running into the issue of my finger sliding on that lever. It was just taking me a little bit more effort to get to it. Even if it is extended, I just needed to drive my thumb in there as hard as I can to release that. On the SFX, You kind of got like this hybrid where you have texturing back here, but you got a little lever up front there. From it sticking out so much, it makes it way easier. Maybe if they extended the material a little bit out more, it'd be easier for me to do it. But again, a lot of people are different. That was just the issue that I was running into. These little takedown lever knobs things here are smaller than the older version. You do have a little bit of texturing up front here, so you can have a place to index your thumb when you're shooting. Same with the older SFX, you have a little bit of texturing, but that texturing does not feel as aggressive as the one on the Rival. And on the topic of texture, the frame itself is okay. It's not too aggressive, but it's not to the point where it's gonna slip out of my hands. The back of it seems a little bit more slippery, but the front of it, I get a good purchase on that. The Rival is better than the older version, but the back straps feel the same. Moving on to the mag releases, like I said, in the case they include 3 different mag releases, a small, medium, and large. I have the small in here. Didn't have an issue at all with the small to release the magazines, so I didn't feel the need that I needed to switch it to a larger one. Moving down, you got this aluminum mag well. It doesn't come with it installed, but you can, if you're going to use this to compete, put in a mag well. You're in limited division, so you'd keep it just like this to shoot limited. And if you're going to put an optic on it, you're going to be in carry optics division, which you cannot have this mag well on here. You have to take that off. Now moving up on the frame, you have this accessory rail where you can put your lights, lasers, whatever you want. Now the trigger. I believe the trigger is the highlight of this gun. So the trigger is aluminum, and the best part about it is the break and the reset. So the break breaks right at 90 degrees there, and the reset is very, very short there. A little bit of take up there. Now the closest thing I felt to this guy was the Walther PDP Pro at SHOT Show, and it had a similar trigger. It felt very, very clean. It almost felt identical to this guy. Those are the 2 best triggers that I felt so far out of factory guns that are striker fired. So yeah, that trigger is phenomenal, especially for a gun this price. Now that I pretty much went over every detail, who is this gun specifically for? Like I said earlier in the video, this gun was tailored towards competition. So if you're just getting into competition, this is a great value for the amount of stuff that you get with it. If you've been shooting competition for a while, I still think this is a great value to go out and try something new. Now, if you're looking at this gun for EDC, I feel it's a little bit too big. Any gun that's 5 inches is a little bit too big. But I do see some people that carry guns bigger than this. So it's up to you if you want to carry a gun this big. The only thing that I do not like about this gun in terms of carrying it for like an EDC or using it for a duty gun of some sort is these 2 cuts here. I just feel like these 2 cuts would probably cause problems if you're in certain environments that involve trees or rock. You never know, guys. Let's just hypothetically speak and say you have this gun out running through trees or something and a twig or something gets caught up in there, right? That's locking up your gun. Obviously, you can always take out whatever's in there and brush it out, but just in case, you just pull it out of your holster and you want to get to work and something's stuck in there, that's going to be an issue. I believe they came out with the new version of this Canik Rival at NRA show. I forgot the name of it. It's pretty much like a non-competition version. The trigger isn't aluminum anymore. It's the same style of trigger, but just plastic. And you do not have these 2 cuts anymore. That's probably going to be the better one for EDC or duty use or whatever application other than competition you're going to be using it for. So yeah, I personally think this is a great value. I cannot speak for reliability just because I haven't shot Caniks long enough, and I only shot about 350 rounds, 400 rounds out of this guy. I didn't have any issues within those 400 rounds, but that's not enough for me to say that this is a super reliable gun. But you Canik fans out there probably have a lot more rounds through Caniks than me. You guys can go down in the comments and talk about how reliable they are. But that about does it. I pretty much went over every little detail that I can think of on this guy. I appreciate you for sticking around. Love you guys. Catch you in the next one.